go live now to Liberal MP Jason Falinski. I mean, first let me ask you about the cost of living, Mr Falinski. I mean, is it really helpful to say if Jen was sitting next to him, the Prime Minister would have known?
Not really, no, Laura. That's not helpful. I think the Prime Minister, I mean, you know, I think most Australians accept that Prime Ministers don't go and buy their own bread and milk, you know, for a whole bunch of reasons. It's not probably a good use of their time, and there are security issues with those sorts of things. Can I say that probably every Member of Parliament since Andrew Clennell asked that question has been boning up on the price of milk and petrol and rats and bread and all sorts of different things. So ask me, I know the answer.
Okay, tell us, how expensive is your bread?
You know, a white Wonder Loaf bread at Coles is $3.40 a loaf.
Come on, you don't really eat Wonder White, do you? You're more a fancy sourdough guy on the Northern Beaches, aren't you?
I must confess, I do go to Baker's Delight, and I have a weakness for spicy fruit toast. So that's about $3.30 a loaf too. So there you go.
All right, I would have picked you as a Vegemite scroll guy, but anyway, let's move on. I want to talk more seriously about these text messages yesterday. I think you're right to point out that there are ethical questions around doing it in such a way yesterday. What do you think about where we're at now? The text messages are out there. They're doing political damage. What needs to happen?
Look, Laura, I don't think they are doing political damage. I think most working Australians, you know, people who have to actually get on with their lives in order to pay bills, get their kids to school, etc., they just see this as nonsense. I think this is the sort of stuff that really annoys them about Canberra. They want to hear about how members of Parliament, how elected officials are working hard to make their lives better and easier. You know, what one politician said to another is pretty uninteresting to them, and I think is something that really, really annoys them. I have a separate issue, which is, you know, whoever did this, I think has failed a pretty fundamental character test. That is not what you do to another Member of Parliament, in this case Gladys Berejiklian. That is not what you do to the Prime Minister of the country. Yeah. And I think it is completely unfair and unjustified, and it says more about the person who leaked the text messages than it does about anyone else referred to.
Okay, so you're not complaining about these text messages being sent. It was a private conversation. People vent all the time, but you're complaining about the leaking of them.
Absolutely right. I mean, all of us let off steam from time to time. All of us say things in private about other people that we would be horrified if that person ever found out that we'd said that or even thought it. And you know, a lot of the time people don't even mean it. They're in very stressful situations and they're letting off steam. For someone to use that moment of vulnerability against another person and against the subject of that person, that shows a complete failure of character. And if that person, and you know, I've said this morning and I'll say it again, I think whoever did it really should, if that comes out, I just don't think their position is viable.
Who is it? Do you know who it is? Do you suspect?
I have no idea.
Everyone's talking about it.
Yeah, I have no idea who it is. I have no idea who it is.
Matt Keane was out there this morning denying it was him. The finger has been pointing at him. Do you believe him?
Yes. Well, yes, I believe it. I mean, if Matt Keane, I believe Matt Keane, and I don't think Matt Keane would be stupid enough to deny something if he knew it not to be the case. And I also, I mean, if it did turn out that it was him, well, you know, he would know now that his position is completely unviable if it turned out that it was him.
I think one of the problems was that when these text messages were read out at the National Press Club yesterday, there was no context given around them as to when the journalists obtained them or when the text messages were sent. That could really change things in the colour of a story.
Look, I mean, a lot of people I've spoken to this morning about it, because I was out this morning talking to a bunch of people who are, you know, innocently going about their job of getting on a bus to go to work. And you know, the overwhelming takeout that they had from it was, firstly, that they felt sorry for the Prime Minister as just one human being to another, that he was put in that position and he was ambushed like that. The second thing was that, you know, they're fed up. They're fed up with these sorts of games. They want us to be working on the problems that they have, on the challenges that this nation faces, and on the future and vision of this country, not on who said what about someone's back. And I mean, as one woman said to me, really, was that the best question someone could think to ask the Prime Minister at a press conference? And it's not a bad point.